You're staring at your screen. Red numbers again. The position you entered 3 hours ago, the one that felt so right, so obvious, is now down 2,000. Your heart's hammering against your ribs like a trapped bird. Your palms are slick with sweat. And somewhere in the dark, frantic back of your mind, a voice is screaming, "Close it. Close it now before it's all gone." But another voice, smoother and more seductive, whispers, "Just wait, it'll come back. It always comes back." Which voice do you listen to? Here is the brutal, unvarnished truth. If you're like 95% of traders, you will make the wrong choice. Not because you don't understand the complex geometry of charts, and not because you lack a sophisticated strategy, but because your brain, that 3-pound supercomputer that successfully navigated your ancestors through ice ages and predator attacks, is actively sabotaging your financial future. The mastery of the gap, the difference between the 5% who survive and the 95% who fail, is found in a hidden dimension. Elite traders have mastered something you cannot see on any candlestick chart. It has nothing to do with technical analysis, RSI levels, or perfect market timing. They have mastered the gap. This is the 3-second window between feeling a raw emotion and taking a physical action. It is the microscopic space between fear and panic selling, between greed and over-leveraging, and between hope and holding a loser while it bleeds your account into nothingness. That gap is trainable, measurable, and completely within your control. You are going to learn why losing 60% of your trades can actually make you wealthy, why successful traders look utterly bored during both massive wins and crushing losses, and why everything you've been taught about staying positive is likely destroying your account. Welcome to the Trading Psychology Blueprint. Chapter 1T, the Poker Face Paradox. Your face is lying to you right now. Not to the world, but to you. You likely think the goal of trading is to feel absolutely nothing, to become some emotionless, silicon-based robot who doesn't flinch when positions move violently against you. But here is what nobody tells you: elite traders are not calm. They feel everything. They feel the sharp spike of fear when a position gaps down. They feel the rush of euphoria when a trade goes vertical. They feel the gut-wrenching doubt when they are 7 trades deep into a losing streak. The difference is that they have mastered the gap between feeling and reacting. Watch a professional poker player. Their heart rate spikes when they peel back pocket aces. Cortisol floods their system when they are bluffing into a massive pot with nothing. But their face remains flat and neutral. This isn't because they don't feel the emotions, it's because they have trained a 3-second delay between the stimulus and the response. Your brain is wired for survival, not for profit. When you see that position drop 2,000 in 90 seconds, your amygdala hijacks your prefrontal cortex. It's the same system that saved your ancestors from saber-tooth tigers. Threat detected. React now. Except the market isn't a tiger. In trading, isn't safety, it's just poor execution. Consider Marcus. He bought 200 shares at 85. It was a strong setup with clear support. Within 90 seconds, algorithmic selling pushed the stock to 75, leaving his position down 2,000 lozen. Marcus felt everything: the stomach drop, the cold flash, the overwhelming urge to click, sell market, and make the pain stop. But Marcus counted. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. That is all it takes for blood flow to shift from your amygdala back to your prefrontal cortex, from survival mode to decision mode. After 3 seconds, Marcus checked his rules. His stop-loss threshold was 2,500. Current loss was 2,000. Rule triggered. No, he held. 30 minutes later, the stock rebounded to 92. He closed for a Valdern's 400 profit. You cannot eliminate the internal voice, but you can train the delay. Chapter 2E, the 5% survivor's secret. 95% of traders do not just struggle, they fail. They blow up, they quit, and they walk away convinced the game is rigged against them. Most of them are making the exact same mistake, and tragically, they think it's a virtue they are optimizing to be right. Listen carefully. Being right does not pay your bills. Being profitable does. Sarah tracked her results for 6 months. Her win rate was a staggering 68%. 2 out of every 3 trades were winners. She felt smart and validated. She was also down to 14,000. Her average winner made her 200, but her average loser cost her 1,100. She would panic sell winners after an hour to lock in profits, but losing trades, she would hold those for weeks convinced they would eventually return to break even. The math is brutal. 68 wins at 200 equals 113,600. But 32 losses at 1,100 equals 35. 200 gone. Net result down 21,600 with a 68% win rate. Now compare that to David. His win rate was only 42%. He lost 6 times for every 4 wins. Yet David made 7th 200. His 4 winners averaged 3,000 each, while his losers averaged only 800. He failed 60% of the time and still walked away with 7 grand. This is the secret that only 5% of traders ever truly internalize. The ratio of your wins to your losses matters infinitely more than how often you win. You do not need to be right frequently, you need to be right bigger than you are wrong. Never enter a trade unless your potential profit is at least 3 times your potential loss. 3 to 1 minimum. This is non-negotiable. If you risk 500, you must target 500. If you risk 100,000, your target needs to be 3,000. This single rule will force you to be selective, killing 70% of the trades you currently take. Good. Those trades were merely distractions pretending to be opportunities. Chapter 30, The Architecture of Discipline. You think elite traders are disciplined people. You are wrong. Elite traders are lazy, methodical, and almost boring in their refusal to make real-time decisions. They have discovered that discipline isn't willpower, it's architecture. It's Tuesday at 20:47 p.m. The market just dumped 3% in 17 minutes on breaking news nobody saw coming. Your position is bleeding. Every cell in your body is screaming at you to do something. This is the moment where discipline as willpower fails, because willpower is a finite resource that cracks under pressure. Elite traders won this war 2 days ago on Sunday when they were calm. Your Sunday self is exponentially smarter than your Tuesday, 3 p.m. self. Sunday you has a fully functioning prefrontal cortex. Sunday you can analyze probabilities and build rules based on logic. Tuesday you is a survivor scrambling not to die. Elite traders build systems during the calm, then surrender to those systems during the chaos. Every Sunday, you must create 15 to 20 specific rules, not guidelines rules. If position drops 3% on unusual volume, then exit immediately regardless of stop loss. These are pre-decisions. Under pressure, your IQ drops and your risk assessment breaks. Stop deciding under stress. Decide Sunday. Execute Tuesday. Robot mode. System over self. Always. Chapter 40 in the present moment protocol. You bought a stock at 50 with a target of 60. Now it's at 47 and your brain starts writing fiction. It'll bounce back. Support is at 45. None of this is on the chart. You are projecting a future that exists only in your imagination. The market is only price and volume right now, this second. Everything else is narrative. Elite traders run the present test every 60 minutes. They ask, if I had no position right now, would I buy at this current price? If the answer is no, they exit. They ignore their entry price because that number is just an anchor dragging them into the past. The market doesn't know you bought at 50, and it doesn't care. If the chart shows a downtrend forming at 47, the fact that you need it to get back to 50 is irrelevant. Your entry price is history. The only thing that matters is what the chart is telling you about where the price is likely to go next. Reset every 15 minutes. Treat every window as a fresh decision. Chapter 50. The Advanced Recovery Mindset. Beyond the basics of entries and exits lies the psychological endurance required for the long game. Most traders collapse not during the trade, but in the aftermath of a loss. They carry the ghosts of previous trades into the current one. If you lost $5,000 yesterday, you are likely to take higher risks today to get it back. This is the revenge trading trap. To the market, yesterday does not exist. Your P&L curve is a line on a screen, but your brain treats it like a wound. To heal this, you must implement the neutrality reset. After any significant win or loss, you must physically step away from the screen for at least 20 minutes. You need to allow the neurochemistry, the dopamine from the win, or the cortisol from the loss, to dissipate before you are allowed to click a button again. The market is a continuous stream of data, but humans are linear storytellers. We want a beginning, a middle, and an end. We want our trading day to end on the green, so we can feel successful. But the market doesn't operate on a 24-hour clock. Your edge might take 3 days to manifest or 3 weeks. When you force the market to give you a profit by the closing bell, you are forcing a square peg into a round hole. This is where the infinite horizon concept comes in. You must view your trading career as a single 10,000 trade sequence. Any individual trade is statistically insignificant. When you realize that trade fate 42 doesn't matter in the context of 10,000 trades, the pressure to be right evaporates. You become a manager of probabilities rather than a seeker of certainties. Furthermore, you must master the internal feedback loop. Most people review their trades based on the outcome. I made money, so it was a good trade. This is a lie. You can make money on a terrible, impulsive trade, and you can lose money on a perfect, disciplined trade. If you reward yourself for bad wins, you are training your brain to repeat mistakes. Elite traders grade themselves on process, not P&L. A perfect trade is one where you followed every single one of your Sunday rules, regardless of whether it hit the stop, loss, or the take profit. If you followed the rules and lost money, that is a successful trade. If you broke the rules and made money, that is a failure that requires an immediate psychological correction. Chapter 60: Scaling the Peak of Performance. As you move from a novice to an intermediate trader, the challenges shift from, how do I not lose, to, how do I handle winning? Success brings its own set of psychological demons. There is a phenomenon known as equity curve fear, where a trader sees their account hitting new all-time highs and begins to trade smaller or more timidly because they are afraid of giving it back. This is just loss aversion in a different mask. To combat this, you must adopt the aggressive preservation strategy. Instead of getting timid, you tighten your technical requirements for entry. You don't trade less, you trade better. You must also understand the social isolation of the elite. Trading is a lonely profession by design. When you begin to succeed, the people around you, friends, family, and peers, will often project their own financial fears onto you. They will tell you to be careful, or take the money and run. To stay in the 5%, you must build a mental fortress. You cannot allow the risk tolerance of normal people to infect your professional execution. You are an elite athlete in the arena of risk. You cannot take advice from people sitting in the bleachers. Finally, we come to the decade projection. Most traders are obsessed with their daily or weekly returns. But real wealth is built through the compounding of small, consistent edges over years. If you can average just 2% monthly, a target that seems modest to many, you turn 25,000 into over 200,000 in 10 years. The hero trade that risk 20% of your account to make 50% is the enemy of this compounding. One bad hero trade can wipe out 3 years of disciplined 2% gains. The goal isn't to be a star for a day, it's to be a professional for a lifetime. The final call to action, the 3-second circuit breaker, the 3-to-1 reward, risk minimum, the Sunday blueprint, the 20 trade evaluation window, the 2% hard stop, and the present moment protocol. These are not mere theories. They are the high-performance tools of a craft that few ever master. The market does not care about your potential or your dreams. It only cares about your execution. Your execution starts the very moment you step away from this information and enter the world of action. What are you going to do? Are you going to go back to the red numbers and the sweaty palms? Or are you going to build the architecture that makes success inevitable? Open your document. Define your 3 setups. Write your 15 rules. Calculate your decade number. The gap is waiting for you. Step into it, master it, and join the 5% who truly own the game.